Safeguard your eyes smartly and easily with an eye care monitor and eye care U software. Working on a paper? Turn on low blue light mode. Is the sun too bright? Let brightness intelligence do its work. Now better. Writing code gets your eyes tired? Try coding mode. Forget the time. Light reminder lets you know. Totally immersed in the movie? Minimize software won't distract you. Brake reminder and force brake help manage your screen time. When it's almost time, a countdown starts. Force brake activates to rest your eyes. Eye care you. Safeguard your eyes.
All right, hello everybody, and welcome back to another beautiful day of action here on AMX Global Season 2. And we're back again for day 18, if I'm not mistaken. And it's rejoined again by Marco. Marco, how's it going?
Fantastic, Irid. Hello, everyone. We have a couple of exciting races coming your way. Of course, we start with the trucks at USA International, and then we'll have the Lara P217s running around Fuji racetrack in Japan. So, completely different sides of the racing spectrum. Very, very excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely, Marco. We are a little bit all over the place today. We're going back to another classic dirt track, or not dirt track, but oval. We're going to see more NASCAR action. This time it's NASCAR trucks. You see a little bit of a preview there on your screen underneath. The info for today, of course, it is bright and early for everyone out there in EDT time in the East Coast of the United States of America, or wherever you are watching from. Welcome to Season 2. We're getting started on this oval, USA International Speedway. Of course, not quite what it used to be, but it's going to do great for us today, and it's about as classic an oval as you can get. 2 straightaways, 4 turns, you get the idea, and of course, it is going to be NASCAR trucks today with our usual weather setup and configuration. So nothing new to worry about. It's just going to be about how well our drivers turn left. Marco, do you want to break down a little bit of this info for us?
Yes, sir. We have the 3 tiers. Of course, today we are in the free tier with the later race in the day being a paid tier 1, but we are in the free tier, as you can see. So there's going to be a $30 prize pool and minimum payout of $50 for today's event. And you can see, of course, there will be 90 races total. We are I wouldn't say halfway through, but getting close to it with our schedule that will go on until the month of June. As you can see these beautiful pictures above. You can also go in the meantime to amxrace.com to sign up and more info, so we will gladly have you, and you can see the schedule there. Of course, day 18 today, and day 19 will be tomorrow on May 9, and you can see the rest of the days of these final few days of the first half of May, of course.
Yeah, of course, keep in mind, guys, this schedule depends on what time zone you're in. So, for instance, in Korea, there is no race tomorrow, but for elsewhere in the world, there is. So just check our schedule on amxrace.com and check out when our next race is coming up. This is a look at our point system. And if you think the points are a little low, it's because it's a pre-race, right? You can just go, just enter at amxrace.com. If you play iRacing, you can sign up for free, and you can win maximum of 8 plus 3. That's $11. You also have the fastest lap and place first, so not bad. And of course, it does scale down a little bit the lower you place. But some days, if there aren't a lot of other competitors, you are automatically just going to get a higher place regardless. And of course, also if you are incredibly good, like most of these guys. This is a look at our total standings. Kaio, Gaspar way up there at the top. And there are a few stats to look at here, right? Victor Miranda, Quarantine Guinness, Gail Valero. You look over towards the win rate column, and these guys win almost every time they show up. Over 50%. That's pretty good in my book. And of course, we do have a lot of racers who are still incredibly good and have yet to win, still with hundreds and hundreds of dollars in their pockets from AMX Season 2. So if you guys are not in the best shape of your lives, it's okay. You can still come out here, race, and win points. And here's a look at where we are racing today, Marco.
Yes, sir, the USA International Speedway, 3/4 of a mile, formerly an oval, now I think a mall or a parking lot, if I'm not mistaken, but preserved forever in iRacing in Lakeland, Florida, of course. It's not a coincidence that I'm wearing my Mets t-shirt, of course, because this is where one of the greatest players in Mets history, Jacob deGrom, was born, in Lakeland, Florida. This is a rookie track in iRacing, available for free, so everybody knows it. Everybody that goes through the oval ladder in iRacing knows this track by heart, and it's one of the most challenging tracks for rookies, because it's the first track usually where you learn to use the brakes on an oval. And for a lot of people that come from Europe, for example, and try oval, it is like, we need to use brakes around this kind of racetracks. Yes, guys, you need to use the brakes, and it's a very, very complicated track. And of course, we are having the beautiful pictures from our production crew of the Nascar Chevy Silverado track, which is the free version of the track in iRacing. Very, 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 very rough around the edges. This track has been superseded by the more recent versions, but this remains available for free, and it's really one of the best, if not the best, oval cars, in this case the oval track, I should say, available in the service. It's not a shock to hear that people can go up the ladder in iRacing until the A-Class license to race the NASCAR Cup cars, but a lot of them stick to the C-Class track series, and it's in fact the most popular track oval series on the service, the C-Class fixed tracks, because they're so much fun. And you can see the practice results that are on your screen right now, and I think we are about, if not already heading into the qualifying session, which is of course Reed. It's going to be group qualifier, and look at Octavio Rondoletto there, of course, as I say every time, a star in the Italian NASCAR Championship on Monday night. Tonight, of course, there is for me tonight, of course. Previous already night will be the third race. 3 races to go. We start tonight in Miami, but let's move in Lakeland, Florida, a little bit further north, if I'm not mistaken, for this AMX Global Race 1 of the day.
Just a little bit up there. And, it's always a little bit exciting. Every day you tune in to AMX Season 2, you're going to get something either a little bit different or a lot different. Today, a little bit on the a lot different side. So not only are we racing ovals, we're racing in NASCAR trucks, and obviously the every single force, every single aspect of your race experience is completely different. Not only is the camber of this track different than basically every other road course you're going to get, the experience driving here, passing, overtake, everything is a little bit different. The downforce on a truck, probably a little bit different than the Dalaras that we're going to be seeing our second race of the day on the Fuji International Speedway. So these racers are really going to have to adapt, be very, very versatile today when it comes to their ability to pass each other, their ability to plan their track strategies and potential outcomes. And just to look at the racers that we do have today, it's going to be 7 out on the field. Octavio Rondoletto, Josh Perwin, Caio Gaspar. Whoa! A little bit of an aggressive hit. We're just in qualifying.
Yeah, I gotta save the equipment for the race, Reed, you know. Thankfully for these drivers, with a quick press of a button, you get a new car waiting for you in pit lane during qualifying. Unlike real life, that would have been quite expensive and you know, difficult to fix with only a few minutes left before the start of the race.
Yeah, absolutely. Luckily, we're a little bit light on the penalties, but let's just hope things calm down a little bit when it comes to the actual race coming up. We do have actually, you know, some nice participants here. Singing Park, nice to see him back after a while. And racing trucks, another thing that probably is not going to become popular on the Korean domestic circuits, but we're going to get a chance to see what this would have looked like on some older trucks on an older raceway. What could have been? This is our AMX Season 2 What If today.
Yes, sir. You can really see from the onboard, you can really appreciate how tough it is for these guys out there, especially with this very high track temperature. Now, when I started in rookie in iRacing and being an oval guy myself, at the way back when you only had 2 racetracks in the rookie rotation. You had Charlotte Motor Speedway and USA International Speedway. So if you started at Charlotte, you basically had a week, because in racing the track changes weekly. You had basically 1 week of Draft Fest Daytona Talladega style. Then you would move to USA and it would be an absolute shock, because again, having to use the brakes, as I was saying, having to fight side by side with the other drivers, managing the tires was a completely different beast. And it's not like if you want to get out of the rookies in Charlotte, you stay like 10 seconds back from the pack, you cruise around, finish the race with no incidents, and that was that. But then when you move here, that is not an option, because the action is coming fast at you, the track is so small, and there is really no safe place out there. More so, of course, with these bigger vehicles, trucks in this case, which are even more powerful and therefore more difficult to control, especially coming out of turn 2, so here where Octavio Rondoletto is, and then of course coming out of 4. You really want to go on that gas pedal as quickly as possible, the instinct tells you, but in reality you need to feather the throttle as much as you can, not only in a single lap, but also during the full race, because in this race we won't have any cautions, there will be no pace cars, so pitting is absolutely out of the equation for making a change of for fresh tires. You need to manage your tires all the way around to the end of the race, and today is going to be like the most important thing for these drivers.
Absolutely, you don't really get a chance to plan out like your strategy, right? If you plan, you know, Daytona 500, it's going to be a little bit different than just a couple of quick trips around the oval here today. And with only 4 more laps for qualifiers, looks like quite a few. It's like a disease, it's catching on. Quite a few of our players deciding that maybe today's not the day for qualifiers.
Oh boy.
And also apparently not the day to stay on all 4 wheels. What is going on here in qualifiers, Marco?
I mean, those fans are getting some pretty nasty toxic fumes coming from the number 6 truck that was flipped right in front of the backstretch main grandstand stand. No, not really a grandstand, honestly. But you can see Octavio Rondoletto leading the way so far. Caio Gaspar behind him and Josh Purwin. These are the only 3 guys with a valid lap time, and here comes Gaston Kulavi, joins them and promptly loses it in turn 1. So I'm seeing a lot of trouble now. You can see the color of the banner next to the driver's name, and of course a number on the inside of that box. That is the level of their license and their rating, of course, no? And the number of the color of the license is very interesting because, for example, Octavio Rondoletto has a blue stripe next to his name. That means he's an A-class driver. But we've seen drivers like Kulavi, for example, he has a red stripe next to his name. That's a rookie driver. So different levels of experience, and this will really come into play today.
Absolutely. Now, of course, on board with Caio Gaspar. This guy is about as far away from being a rookie driver as you could possibly get. He is absolutely cashing in the money every single race, and it's honestly inspiring to see that degree of consistency, right? It is pretty impressive every single time coming out here, and it extends across the board to a very wide variety. So a little bit of a renaissance man in his NASCAR trucks today. So if we get any ovular drifting or whatever is happening out here, because really the sky is the limit, apparently. It has been quite an action-packed round of qualifying, and it looks like everybody's taking a trip around the track except for Kunyong Park. I don't know if he plans to get out there, but it is an average of, dodging some landmines out there. Gaston Kulavi almost just getting taken out, and this is one of the last qualifying lap attempts you're going to get as we run out of time in the 10 minutes before the actual race start. Things are a little bit crazy out there, Marco.
Yeah, that was Spark himself, number 6 truck that Kulavi has avoided coming out of turn first. So it was certainly a risky moment. We only have 1 minute left now. These guys can come out of the pits and get another lap in if they want. You can see a lap time is around 22 seconds. Now, mind you, of course, that these tires are good for maybe 2 laps. Possibly only 1. Oh, you can see here, for example, again, contact between the number 12 and the number 6 truck. So basically what you do is you do a couple of laps, 1-2 laps, that get into the pits and then come out again. Most of the times these tires only will do 1 lap for you. Josh Purwin, driver to watch today, and is 4th in the free tier earnings with $46, and of course in the season 2 overall standings he's in 6th place with $479 with 21 races attended and 2 race wins. So thank you to our fantastic production crew for these stats behind the scenes. Checker flag waves, and so drivers who are on a fast lap can finish their fast lap. Drivers who are not, well, not.
Articulate as always, Marco. Appreciate your breakdown there. I just want to say, as far as Josh Purwin goes, we're showing his tier 1 winnings at $46, but he is currently ranked 4th as far as free tier race winnings this season. So honestly, really impressive. And of course, he is also ranked 4th overall. Very impressive as well. So really got a lot of great racers out there, some new faces, some old, and it's kind of cool to see them here because we don't get a chance to race oval tracks that often this season. I think we have maybe 5 or 10 races on ovals, but of course the majority of our racetracks are just that, road courses and some of the most storied tracks in the world. So it's kind of nice to dial it back a little bit and play on a track that, while simple conceptually, is a little bit more dynamic when it comes to learning how to do some of that braking that Marco was talking about earlier. So Just look at our faces and the racers all at the same time. Wow, hashtag production values. You can send a tweet to AMX_Global on Twitter and tell us how good everything looks. So I'm sure everybody's going to be doing that because they don't, guys, don't make Marco cry. He needs his self-esteem boost for the day. So get out there and let us know what you think. Marco, what do you think?
I mean, the graphics looks absolutely amazing, and the drivers will now go through 2 pace laps, of course, because we are less than a mile in this racetrack per iRacing internal rules. So, crucial moment is for everybody. They will need to basically, these are the last moments of relaxation that everybody will have in this grid. As I was saying, there will be no cautions, no pitting. No cautions also means that if there is a guy stuck in the middle of the track, well, you basically have to avoid him. There will be no yellows that can have you slow down. So we have like a very, very nice grid today. This is going to be probably one of the best races of the season. That's my bold prediction for the day. The qualifying times were very, very close, and again, it's an oval, so mistakes are around the corner, door banging, lapped cars, and of course it's quite a hot racetrack. So it's all going to combine, in my opinion, Reed, for one of the best races of the season on paper. Let's hope the drivers don't disappoint us.
Absolutely. 7 drivers out there on the track. We're going to make 1 lap, and I guess this is technically a hot lap with the way that the pavement is heating up under the blistering Florida sun. We are taking our opportunity to just get a look at the liveries. We do have some more colorful options here today. Always nice to see some creativity, but we are about to get things started out here with Octavio Rondoletto, Kyle Gaspar, Josh Perwin, Gaston Calevi, Diego Villarreal, Seung-Yun Park, and Kyung-Young Park in the pit lane, unfortunately. On board with Seung-Yun Park, currently at the back of the pack, and this is an oval race, right? And that means that, for the most part, people are going to be relatively close for a while, but the action might heat up a little bit. And right now, it's currently pretty close across the board, with the exception of Kyung-Young Park, who has unfortunately had a little bit of a rough start. Kind of spun out immediately, didn't get a chance to look at exactly what happened, but hit it immediately, and now is back on the pack at the back of the pack. And, of course, Octavio Rondoletto in the front, Kyle Gaspar, Josh Perwin right behind him, making up the real big first pack of drivers. Diego Villarreal on the tail of Seung-Yun Park, really looking for any opportunity to pass. And this is a 50-lap race, guys. Whoa, a big spin out up front. And Diego manages to avoid it. But, man, we got some damage out on our trucks today.
Yeah, you can see that track number 12 of Seung-Yun Park has already got like a big bump from behind, I suppose, from Diego Villarreal in the beginning of the race. Still, we have a track that's parked on the inside line. Thankfully, it's not proper racing line on the front stretch, but if you're doing side-by-side action there, you might have a bad surprise, as we are running on board with Josh Perwin, very close to top 3, of course, Rondoletto, Gaspar and Perwin, in which they'll need to manage the tire, of course, because this is the conundrum at the moment. You want to push hard, you want to stay close to the leaders, or maybe if you're the leader, you want to pull away, but at the same time, you need to look at the lap counter, those 50 laps there. Of course, these are quick laps, 22 seconds, 33 seconds, and the lap is over. But they will add up quickly on your tires, and even if it's like short 50 laps, it's 50 laps nonetheless. So you need to really be careful and manage your rubber from now until the end of the race, otherwise you could have some very nasty surprises. Right around the 25 lap mark, you could be in a lot of trouble. Everybody will be in trouble come the end of the race, don't get me wrong. But you want to be less in trouble than the other drivers with your tires.
Yeah, tires are really going to be a resource here. And, you don't really think of racing as a resource game. You're not mining minerals here, right? But you do have to manage a lot of the resources at your command, right? You have the drafting aspect of it. If you are really close to the guy in front of you, you also have the rubberizing effect of the track, right? A lot of times you're going to be driving on the inside of the track, and if you have 7 cars driving on the inside for the entire race, it's just going to make that track more rubber than the rest of it, and that can have traction impact as the race goes on over 50 laps. So really something to keep an eye on, as well as the aforementioned tire wear that Marco referenced earlier. So Kenyang Park is out of there. He is in the pit and staying there for now. And even though Singin Park had that big dent in the back of his truck, he's still going strong and currently sitting in 5th place ahead of Diego Villarreal, a guy that we've seen winning races out there in our in AMX Season 2. So really keep an eye out on that back of the pack. It's maybe not quite as close as the front, but absolutely anything can change. And it's been a little bit of a violent race so far, even in qualifiers. So definitely want to make sure to keep an eye on the entire racing situation here, not just where it is closest, such as up at the front, Octavio Rondeletto and Caio Gaspar really dueling it out.
Lorenzo Gaspar and Purwin are pulling away slightly from Gaston Kulavi, the top 3, trying to make this a race of their own. So far, where we can see in the beautiful picture-in-picture the back markers right now with Diego Villarreal, who's trying to stay close to the number 12 track of Park, and behind him there is the last track as well. The top 3, let's say top 3.5, because I think Kulavi is trying, he's hanging on for dear life there. I don't know if he's managing his tires, but I doubt it at this moment of the race. So I'm afraid for Gaston, in a few laps he will be more than likely drop back from the lead track. And look at Josh Purwin. Now, I've seen Josh Purwin do this also when we were on board with Gaspar looking back. He's slipping and sliding every which way, Reed, and that is certainly not what you want to do in this race, especially this early in the race. But sometimes you have no choice because the track is really fighting against you. These tracks don't want to stay on the track. No, they want to spin. They want to go into the wall. So you can see Purwin is losing already a bit of contact with the 2 guys in front of him. I think especially because of this, because he's really slipping and sliding every which way.
Yeah, really important to maintain good lines around here. Every time you're out on some of these complicated road courses, it can be really hard to find the perfect path through the track. But on an oval, you have a little bit more control over how you are going to plan your trip around. And of course, you can improve and refine on that as the race continues. But it is looking a little bit diverse all over the place there, so definitely some room for improvement there. And if you're watching, right, it's always easier to watch than it is to do it. Feel free to hop in to this or any other oval track and find out just how hard it can be. Keep up that consistency over a total of 50 laps of racing. This is quite a long time to do anything, but whoa, another big spin out.
You really hitting the nail there with the keyword being consistency. Absolutely, you need to be consistent. You need to be, which is not driving to a number, which we see sometimes in real life in some racing series, which I don't like. This is more like being gentle to your equipment while still being fast, which is incredibly difficult to do. And so you can see from above, you can appreciate Josh Purwin as well. I'm sorry that this is a part number 12, not number 2, I'm stupid. Look at the dent in the back end of the track. That's absolutely astonishing. Oh, and he's sideways and he spins, unfortunately.
Oh no, complete disaster for Sungin Park. He's gonna try to turn it around, but he's gotta back up. It's gonna be our 3-point turn edition. If you guys are taking your driving test, then you can pick up some learning opportunities here. And wow, what a dent. Is that the way the truck is supposed to look, Marco?
Oh boy, there was a bad rejoin there from one of the lap tracks, and Gaspar had to take a massive avoiding action losing contact with Rondoletto, but saving the day for him and being able to continue. That was incredibly close for Caio Gaspar. So wow, that was. But to go back to what you asked me, Reed, that is not what your track is supposed to do, but sometimes it does, you know. It's okay. The beauty of these things is that even when they look a bit less than ideal, they still go semi-fast. We can see the replay around here. This is the spin, coming with way too much mustard into turn one, and losing it.
Yeah, I mean, a nice dodge there, right? You don't... It might lose you a little bit of time, but it's not worth having a collision that makes you either pit or lose even more by getting taken out early on. So, wow, the back of the pack is really a dangerous place to be. Diego Villarreal, Sungin Park, and Kungong Park, all incredibly rough riding so far down there. And if you fast forward up top, you have Octavio Rondoletto, Caio Gaspar, Josh Berwin, and Gaston Kulevi, who have all kept things pretty close, all about around a second apart from each other. And all of our drivers fairly comparable when it comes to putting up about 23-second, 24-second laps on the road. Another spin out. My God, Kingdom Park hitting the hard top again, running into the barrier face first.
This time, really, it was in front of Rondoletto, so this time it was Rondoletto who had to lift and lose the advantage he had gained when it was Gaspar's time to lift a few laps ago. So it all evens out in the end, I suppose.
Yeah, it's, actually anything can happen here. And this is what I was saying. We're required by law to say in every single broadcast, Marco. Anything truly can happen. And you're seeing it right there. The oval is not that big. And so when you do have quite a difference, and there's actually still a truck on the field. Who is that? Oh my God, that is not where you're supposed to park. This is a racetrack, not a parking lot. And even just seeing it, I mean, kind of dangerous out there, honestly. Feels like a little bit of Mario Kart with some obstacles you got to avoid.
And I have a replay once again. I think Rondoletto actually got tagged because the left rear of his truck is not looking pristine. Oh boy! Oh wow! That was bigger than I thought. Oh, I'm absolutely shocked that Rondoletto is still going after that.
Yeah, I mean, these are super trucks, not literally, but you can see a little bit of damage, and I mean, maybe not worth pitting, but that is really going to impact his performance as he goes around this oval. I don't know what to expect anymore. It's almost not even about racing, just about staying alive, preservation, as you go around the oval trying to avoid. It has been an incredibly chaotic race today, Marco.
Yes, and here we go, Kulavi going past Purwin, so I'm not very knowledgeable, but sometimes, you know, every once in a while I get things right, and I said that Josh was going to be in trouble with his tires in the beginning of the race, and lap 30, here we go, Kulavi managed his tires a bit better, and now he's able to squeeze past the number 2 truck with ease, and gets himself on the podium. Unfortunately for Josh, he's really been struggling. Yes, the pace is very quick, but he's really struggling with his tires, basically since the first lap.
Yeah, tires are going to keep being an issue, and when you are riding on the rails later on, it makes traction, it makes turning, it makes everything incredibly difficult, and it leads you to more scrapes, more wrecks. And we're halfway through the race, over halfway through, Marco, and things are going to start getting very difficult. You see even a little bit of a dust off the cars riding the rails there on the outer ring. This is not what I expected to see today, Marco. It's a rough world out there.
You can see from the onboard shot of Gaspar here in his truck, the left rear of Rondoletto is completely smashed. But he also hit very hard with the front end of his truck on the inside wall, and I'm absolutely shocked that he's still going on. You know, not only is this going on, he's still leading, and these trucks are incredibly sensitive to two things: suspension damage and front-end damage. And Rondoletto is both in the front, in left rear, and the front end of the car where the radiator is. So I'm speechless, honestly, because usually that is race-ending damage if you hit another car and the wall at those speeds and with those angles. It's quite incredible that Rondoletto is still able to continue and in first place. So let's see if his truck can hold on, or let's see if Gaspar has one final push as we enter the final 15 laps. Oh, look from above, that truck is looking second hand, maybe third hand.
It is definitely well used, well loved, if you will, Marco. It is been a long day already, 35 laps, less than half to go, and that means that as you keep an eye on the way the race looks, we got Kunyoung Park 20 laps back. He is, for all intents and purposes, out of here. Seungin Park is also taking a little bit of a breather. We have Josh Perwin, who is heading out to the pits to get those tires fixed for the second half of the race and get some repairs after a very, very difficult start to the race. Heading back out there, and now actually in a pretty good spot, if you you know, all things considered. He is a little bit behind, if you will, but not having as many problems as the guys you see on your screen right here, Seungin and Kunyoung Park.
This is not the worst idea in the world for Josh, because for sure he's not going to be able to get back on the he was not going to be able to get back on the podium because he was losing contact with Kulavi. But now he has fresh tires, he will fly out there, and maybe he won't move ahead of Villarreal, but he will probably get the fastest lap of the race, which is going to be bonus points for him.
That's actually a really interesting point to make, Marco. It is, I think, 3 bonus points, so that's going to be $3 extra if you're able to get the fastest lap. And most of the time, right, you see a guy in first place get the fastest lap. Wow, he was fast, but not always. There is always opportunity to make a decision like that. Get out there in the pit, repair, fix up your tires, and head back out with some fresh slicks. I guess these aren't slicks, but you get the idea. And get that fastest lap, bag that extra money. You know you can't pick up the win. Just do the best you can. Some life lessons being taught to us here by Josh Perwin.
And you will see probably being purple next to his name in just a few seconds, because these fresh tires are a massive advantage. Actually, no, 22.8 is very fast, but not the fastest. Maybe he needs another lap, and he can certainly do it. Maybe he clipped the wall entering, you know, or exiting one of the corners, because you can see he's lapping 2 seconds faster than everybody else. This is the big advantage, of course, of fresh tires on ovals. But Josh still can't get that fastest lap of the race, which is a bit surprising. We'll see. He still has 2 or 3 shots left to make it. Then the tires will start to fall off, and it's unfortunately not going to be enough for him. Rondoletto, in the meantime, has pulled away a gap of almost 3 seconds over Caio Gaspar, so he's looking good value to bring home the first race of the day. And actually, as a matter of fact, Gaspar has to look behind, because maybe Kulavi can have a go at him in these final few laps of the race.
Yeah, that's right. We saw Josh Perwin come back with fresh tires and put up a 23-second lap around the track. Very, very fast. And actually, Seungin Park doing kind of the same thing. And now actually a little bit of a pass on the inside coming around. But keep in mind, with Seungin Park being 2 laps back, it's not quite the overtake you might think it is.
Gap now down to 1 second between Gaspar and Kulavi. Was 1.5 seconds just 1 lap ago. You can see 24.6 versus 24 flat for the drivers in second and third. This could really be a change now, down to half a second. So Gaspar is in big trouble. You see Kulavi, beginning of the race, he managed his tires, didn't push too hard. It looked to me like he was dropping back, but no, he was actually managing those tires really well. He nabbed Perwin with this strategy, and now he's about to do the same with Caio Gaspar and go up to an incredibly deserved second position. The beauty about oval racing, you can be fast in many ways. You can also be fast by going slow. Here we go, side by side on the front stretch. And Kulavi should have a good chance here on the inside read. They're still side by side.
Going for it on the inside, and there's no S's, no chicanes, nothing here. If you're on the inside, you're just racing the shorter track. A beautiful shift in power there with Gaston Kalevi now up to second place. Kyle Gaspar falling back and back further and further. 3 laps left to go, and the action is just as intense as ever. Now Gaston Kalevi in second place. Kyle Gaspar looking to retake it, keeping it very, very close, but dropping further behind. We'll see if he can speed back up, and don't forget, we do have Seung-in Park coming around on the inside. He's 3 laps back, but he's still in the thick of things.
Gaspar is really struggling. Thankfully for him, Diego Villarreal is 21.5 seconds back from the Brazilian driver, and so podium should be okay for Gaspar unless he makes an egregious mistake in his final 3 laps of the race. Rondoletto starts actually the penultimate lap right now, so 2 laps to go. Rondoletto has been fantastic, but Kulavi really nailed the strategy in this one.
And I'm back. Apologies for that. Sorry, I'm going to assume that whatever you said was the smartest, funniest thing I've ever heard, Mark. Well, I got back for the white flag. That's the exciting part, right? We are going to see the end of the race in our sights right now, coming around the back stretch with a very dominant performance by Octavio Rondoletto. He is way up in the front. Whoa, that lateral motion coming around the corner. He has drifted his way all the way around, and oh, Lightning McQueen is here. Heading across the checkered flag, it's Octavio Rondoletto, Gaston Kalevi, Kyle Gaspar, Josh Perwin, Diego Villarreal, Seung-in Park, and Kyung Park, rounding out our top 7 podium finish. Rondoletto, Kalevi, and Gaspar, with Josh Perwin pitting and coming back, climbing up to 4th place. A very, very fun and exciting, interesting day of racing here on the USA International Speedway, Marco.
And we're gonna get some tasty donuts from the Argentinian driver. And we look to do the same in around 12 hours time in the Italian Nascar Championship at Homestead. So it's, as I was saying, a short trip for him. Nice way to begin the day. It's quite early in Argentina right now. Big celebration from the Uncos Esports driver. And nice shots from high above at USA. You can see the final results that Reed just went through. And as a reminder, I will say that not only you can join us on amxrace.com and for the next race at Fuji with the Dallara LMP2, but also you can join us on Twitch, on YouTube, and all the other social media platforms, and you can chat with us live and your message will appear on the screen. So if you have questions for us, etc., go ahead, we'll try to answer at the best of our possibilities. So thank you very much. Fantastic race. And I have to say, Reed, I knew it was going to be a great race because ovals never disappoint.
There's just something about that that shape. For some people, you know, it's their eyes, Marco. I just can't get enough. But for some racetracks, it's the shape, the oval always delivers. And of course, we had some of the most amazing racers that we've seen all season long really delivering. We had really everything that ovals can possibly offer, a nice little microcosm of action here. And I couldn't have picked a better person to do it with than our viewers. Really exciting to be able to see. What?
Let me tell you one other tidbit, because we're going from an oval to a track that was supposed to be an oval, but since they ran out of money, they made a proper racetrack in Fuji. So, you know, we're keeping a theme of sorts today.
We've got that to look forward to coming up. It's the Fuji International Speedway, and we are racing a Dallara 217s out there. So don't go anywhere. We are coming back after a 30-minute break for even more action here from AMX Global Season 2. We'll see you then.
Safeguard your eyes smartly and easily with an eye care monitor and eye care U software. Working on a paper? Turn on low blue light mode. Is the sun too bright? Let brightness intelligence do its work. Now better. Writing code gets your eyes tired? Try coding mode. Forget the time. Light reminder lets you know. Totally immersed in the movie? Minimize software won't distract you. Brake reminder and force brake help manage your screen time. When it's almost time, a countdown starts. Force brake activates to rest your eyes. Eye care you. Safeguard your eyes. Safeguard your eyes smartly and easily with an eye care monitor and eye care U software. Working on a paper? Turn on low blue light mode. Is the sun too bright? Let brightness intelligence do its work. Now better. Writing code gets your eyes tired? Try coding mode. Forget the time. Light reminder lets you know. Totally immersed in the movie? Minimize software won't distract you. Brake reminder and force brake help manage your screen time. When it's almost time, a countdown starts. Force brake activates to rest your eyes. Eye care you. Safeguard your eyes. Safeguard your eyes smartly and easily with an eye care monitor and eye care U software. Working on a paper? Turn on low blue light mode. Is the sun too bright? Let brightness intelligence do its work. Now better. Writing code gets your eyes tired? Try coding mode. Forget the time. Light reminder lets you know. Totally immersed in the movie? Minimize software won't distract you. Brake reminder and force brake help manage your screen time. When it's almost time, a countdown starts. Force brake activates to rest your eyes. Eye care you. Safeguard your eyes. Safeguard your eyes smartly and easily with an eye care monitor and eye care U software. Working on a paper? Turn on low blue light mode. Is the sun too bright? Let brightness intelligence do its work. Now better. Writing code gets your eyes tired? Try coding mode. Forget the time. Light reminder lets you know. Totally immersed in the movie? Minimize software won't distract you. Break reminder and force break help manage your screen time. When it's almost time, a countdown starts. Force break activates to rest your eyes. Eye care you. Safeguard your eyes. Safeguard your eyes smartly and easily with an eye care monitor and eye care U software. Working on a paper? Turn on low blue light mode. Is the sun too bright? Let brightness intelligence do its work. Now better. Writing code gets your eyes tired? Try coding mode. Forget the time. Light reminder lets you know. Totally immersed in the movie? Minimize software won't distract you. Break reminder and force break help manage your screen time. When it's almost time, a countdown starts. Force break activates to rest your eyes. Eye care you. Safeguard your eyes. Safeguard your eyes smartly and easily with an eye care monitor and eye care U software. Working on a paper? Turn on low blue light mode. Is the sun too bright? Let brightness intelligence do its work. Now better. Writing code gets your eyes tired? Try coding mode. Forget the time. Light reminder lets you know. Totally immersed in the movie? Minimize software won't distract you. Brake reminder and force brake help manage your screen time. When it's almost time, a countdown starts. Force brake activates to rest your eyes. Eye care you. Safeguard your eyes. Safeguard your eyes smartly and easily with an eye care monitor and eye care U software. Working on a paper? Turn on low blue light mode. Is the sun too bright? Let brightness intelligence do its work. Now better. Writing code gets your eyes tired? Try coding mode. Forget the time. Light reminder lets you know. Totally immersed in the movie? Minimize software won't distract you. Brake reminder and force brake help manage your screen time. When it's almost time, a countdown starts. Force brake activates to rest your eyes. Eye care you. Safeguard your eyes. Safeguard your eyes smartly and easily with an eye care monitor and eye care U software. Working on a paper? Turn on low blue light mode. Is the sun too bright? Let brightness intelligence do its work. Now better. Writing code gets your eyes tired? Try coding mode. Forget the time. Light reminder lets you know. Totally immersed in the movie? Minimize software won't distract you. Break reminder and force break help manage your screen time. When it's almost time, a countdown starts. Force break activates to rest your eyes. Eye care you. Safeguard your eyes. Safeguard your eyes smartly and easily with an eye care monitor and eye care U software. Working on a paper? Turn on low blue light mode. Is the sun too bright? Let brightness intelligence do its work. Now better. Writing code gets your eyes tired? Try coding mode. Forget the time. Light reminder lets you know. Totally immersed in the movie? Minimize software won't distract you. Break reminder and force break help manage your screen time. When it's almost time, a countdown starts. Force break activates to rest your eyes. Eye care you. Safeguard your eyes. Safeguard your eyes smartly and easily with an eye care monitor and eye care.
Hello, and welcome back to AMX Season 2. My name is Reed, and I'm back with Marco, and I hope you missed us, because we missed you guys, and just to show you how much we really care, we're coming back with a brand new set of cars and tracks. Oh my, we've got Dallara P217s on the Fuji Speedway. And Marco, tell me how we go from intending to build an oval track and getting one that has 16 turns.
We ran out of money, Reed. That was the plan originally by the Nascar Japan Corporation to build an oval to have a regular season NASCAR race in Japan. So they built this massive straight, which we still have right now, and then they realize we don't have money to finish it, and we don't know how popular NASCAR will be here in Japan. So the track was left there for a couple of years. New owners took over and built this beautiful, beautiful racetrack, which has been home to the Japanese Grand Prix for on and off for a few years, and now of course is a regular spot for one of the best racing series in the world, which is Super GT, of course. We just raced here last week during Golden Week in Japan in the traditional midweek race, and of course WEC also races here for the 6 hours of Fuji. And as you can see, the track map, that front straight, absolutely massive, and really in stark contrast to everything else. You can see this track has got everything that you can possibly want from a racetrack, Reed, and we'll go into a little bit more detail later, but what a fantastic place for our second race of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get to that after we do a little bit of housekeeping. Do you guys like racing, money, winning, stuff like that? This is where it's at. We've got 3 tiers of races. You can pay $0, $5, or $20 to win your share of $134 or $506 prize pool for a paid tier 2 race. Oh my goodness. If you do race, it's an hour and 20 minutes of practice time. You don't have to be here for the entire hour and 20 minutes. But after that, 10 minutes of qualifiers, 20 minutes of racing to determine who is going to be the best Dallara P217 driver on the Fuji International Raceway. Of course, this is what our racing looks like. If you can't be here today, you can be here any other day this week. We've got 4 days a week of races, 2 races a day, and about 2.5 more weeks of racing left in the month of May, closing in on halfway through our 90 races in AMX Season 2. And here's a look at the prize pool breakdown for our paid tier 1 races. 25 points for first place, 20 points for second, and so on. And if you have the fastest lap of any of our competitors, that's an extra 10 points. And of course, each point is equal to $1 USD dollar. And that means that if you place first and at the fastest lap, $35 on the line for you. You only have to pay 5 in. So if you place 6th or 7th or 8th or 9th or higher, then you make your money back. So if there's 7 players and you enter, then you guys picking up what I'm laying down here? Okay, I'm glad we're all on the same page. So speaking of being on the same page, Marco, we have a very beautiful race car and race track coming up. Can you maybe tell us a little bit more about the Fuji International Speedway?
Yes, as you can see there from the graphics, the 1976 Japanese Grand Prix, of course, one of the most dramatic races of all times, when James Hunt won the title in a absolutely torrential downpour with Niki Lauda famously retiring from the race and basically putting an end on his incredible comeback after the crash he had at the Nordschleife a few months prior. His incredible comeback at Monza the same year, despite the terrible injuries he had, but he felt that the race was not safe to continue and he parked the car, sparking massive debate in Italy, all over the world. And I think it's a beautiful movie that I still have to watch about Gold Rush, about the season. And of course, a few years later, in 2007, one of my favorite races of all time, again flooded, won by Lewis Hamilton in a torrential downpour with Fernando Alonso crashing out during that race. And the Dallara P217, a car that has raced here, of course, many times in real life, and of course we'll have it as well with our race today, with this driver that is very kindly putting on a show for us. V8 engine, of course, Gibson, produced in the United Kingdom, based on the new at the time, the current global LMP2 spec from the FIA and ACO, with Dallara, Ligier, Oreca and Multimatic producing one of the 4 chassis you can pick for your LMP2 car. And then with this unified engine has really put an end to the wilderness time of LMP2 and made it the most popular prototype class in the world. So for once, a fantastic choice by the ACO and by the FIA. And of course, it's the Dallara, so it's made in Italy and the basis for some of the most successful cars in the world of prototype racing right now, such as of course the Cadillac DPI, and now of course also the base of the BMW LMDH car, which is also available in anything. Now Reed, this track has hosted Formula 1 recently, which means that unfortunately it has been touched, meddled with by the F1 official architect Hermann Tilke, which is famous for creating bad tracks or ruining pre-existing ones. But Fuji is such a beautiful racetrack that despite his interventions to make it more akin to the F1 standards of modern times, it's still amazing. And so, which speaks to the incredible quality of this racetrack to begin with. And of course, you can see in our shot right now, maybe not now, but you will see in our shots today. Of course, there he is, Fuji-san, which I love that in Japanese, Fuji-san not only means Mr. Fuji, but also Mount Fuji, so easy to get confused there, overlooking this amazing racetrack.
Yeah, absolutely. Scenic vistas for our race today out in Fuji, Japan. Absolutely beautiful racetrack, and it looks even better when we see some of those beautiful cars out there, these LMP2s, looking for around about 130, 131. I think the record on the Fuji International Speedway set by Nick DeVries a little bit earlier, a few years ago in 2019, I believe. Very fast cars, drivers, everything. Going to make today's race an absolute banger because, as you mentioned, take a look at how long this straightaway is. He's still pedal to the metal. Why is he in 5th gear? Yeah, you really have so much opportunity to reach incredibly fast speeds along one of the longest straightaways in the world here in Fuji. So very exciting to see exactly how fast our racers are going to go. And of course, we do have 5 racers on the track today: Caio Gaspar, Gaston Calavi, Josh Perwin, Jackson Resende, and Diego Uriel.
So a fun tidbit is that according to the FIA rules, there can be a straight no longer than 1.5 kilometers on FIA approved racetrack. This is the reason, by the way, why we have the bus stop chicane in Daytona to break the backstretch and then the Nascar 3 and 4. Well, the straight here at Fuji is 1,475 meters, so we are basically 25 meters short of the FIA limit for a straightaway without a chicane, which is basically very, very close to the limit. As you can see, the big crash here from Caio Gaspar, of course. We are racing, if I'm not mistaken, with the chicane at turn 11. Yes, there it is. Fantastic job by our production crew, especially our VMix God, TJ, that's overlooking us behind the scenes, which is this chicane to slow down the cars for turn 13. And then, of course, we have the long double sweeper, first going to the left, 14 and 15, and then here, turn 16, Panasonic turn, which basically is crucial to get a good run on the front stretch. Now, so much real estate on the front stretch means that being in a draft can be incredibly advantageous. You can effectively complete the pass before the end of the straight, but if you get overtaken, if you make the overtake too early, too soon, you can be overtaken again because the straight is so long. So gotta be absolutely careful with the way you plan your overtakes during the race.
Very careful. This is not exactly what we experienced in our first race of the day. Marco, in case you couldn't tell, not on oval. Very careful planning required, not only for overtakes, but also for navigating very, very impactful turns. So you're going to see two turns, obviously, that are going to make it a very, very difficult track to follow. You see, coming around the fourth, or I guess, I'm trying to figure out exactly which car. Okay, so we are on board with our second driver, Gaston Calavi. So he's going to be coming through 13, 14, 15. It's a little bit curvy. Oh my goodness. And he, okay, we're going to end practice here, but I'll point it out later on. Basically, the turn 16 and turn 1, everything before and after the straightaway is going to be very, very crucial to watch. The entire race sort of hinges on, can you take both of them well? It allows you to get those huge top speeds and gives you an even bigger lead. And after our practice session, this is kind of an idea about what to expect, with Caio Gaspar and Gaston Calavi leading the pack with Josh Irwin, and Jackson Resende and Diego Villarreal about a second back of our lead.
Cars out, of course, all together for the qualifying, the group qualifying session, as per usual, as is tradition around here in the AMX series. As you can see, of course, drivers will have to balance the fact that they will try to stay as close to each other as possible in order to get a better draft, but also stay as far as away as possible to avoid running into each other, which is always an interesting balance to have. Nobody wants to be first, of course, but if you're first, you want to pull away, and so at least you don't give the draft to the cars behind you. But of course, being first negates you any kind of help again with the draft. You can see how a lot of long corners on this racetrack. They really will put your car under a lot of stress, Reed, and also you want to balance the aerodynamic balance, because of course you want to be also as fast as possible on the front straight. So if you have a lot of downforce to help you in this basically the rest of the racetrack, you're going to suffer on the front straight. So it's going to be a big now of course we're racing with a fixed setup, so you are going to use whatever it's given to you, but it's always interesting to see how and when the setup is compromised, either to favor the car on the front stretch or in the topsy-turvy rest of the lap.
That's a great point, Marco. And when it comes to downforce, it doesn't get much better than Dallara. I think originally, without a driver, this car sits in at just under 900, I don't know my metric units, kilograms, right? So, right, so just under 900 kilograms, but its downforce is 900 plus kilograms of downforce. So technically, if you reach max speed, you can drive on the ceiling with this guy, and obviously that's a little bit of a pipe dream, but the idea is that it is a very light car with very heavy downforce, and that really does make it a very attractive option for this track. Not only does it have incredible top speeds, but it does have that downforce that is required to take some of these sharp turns and also come right back and hit this straightaway incredibly quickly.
Yeah, this new platform, this new global platform of LMP2 cars that was introduced in 2017, hence the name of this car, P217, has really been one of the rare home runs hit by WEC, FIA and ACO, because in the first year these cars were introduced into the global stage, they of course took part in the 24 hours of Le Mans, and one of these cars was 2 hours away from winning the overall 24-hour of Le Mans race. You know, the LMP1 cars back then were basically rocket ships, and but they ran into a lot of technical troubles that season, whilst the old reliable from Jackie Chan Racing, by the way, was basically leading with 2 hours to go, and one of the Porsches was able to come back, of course being much faster and having a much better fuel efficiency, was able to get and win the race, get back to the leader and win the race. But we were very close to a non-LMP1 winner in Le Mans or a non-top class winner in many years. And now actually with the introduction of the hypercar class, which we have of course in racing with the LMDH, BMW, these cars have been slowed down a bit because otherwise they would be too close in performance to the hypercars. And mind you, the hypercars, especially the Toyota, the Ferrari, etc., are like 100 million times more expensive to race and build than this one. So fantastic job by the Lara and all the other manufacturers, especially Oreca is the one that's really super popular these days, because they really created a fantastic platform, and of course the basis for LMDH, as I was saying earlier. Gaspar, Hesenji, top two drivers are Brazilians. Then we have Purwin, Kulavi, and of course our traditional, guy that likes to relax and enjoy a drink during qualifying, Diego Villarreal.
Got things to do, right? He's got to take the dog out for a walk or something like that. We're halfway through our qualifiers, as Marco mentioned earlier, and we're setting 131s, 132s. So right up there in the realm of some of the fastest times that these LMP2 cars have set ever out on the Fuji International Speedway. And you're starting to see our racers get a hang for the lines that they are or will be looking for. Erwin heading back to the pits and heading back out with a lap and finding out whether or not he can get his time a little bit up there. He's only down by 1/10 of a second, less than that, for an additional position in the grid. So absolutely can get that right back up there. So we'll see if he's able to set another qualifying time before time runs out, as this is one of our longer tracks, right? So it is going to take a little bit more planning to execute it correctly without having an outlap or something like that in order to get our qualifying times to count. So Jackson Resenje is back in the pits, and he's probably pretty happy with being P2 for this race. He might come back and try again, but we'll see exactly how things are going to shake up, because one thing's for sure, Diego will be at the bottom.
You can see here Caio Gaspar drifting, losing a bit of time there. He's sporting the Honda tribute livery that Red Bull ran in Turkey a few years ago. But actually this racetrack is owned by one of the biggest rivals of Honda, that being of course Toyota. So basically, yeah, it's not uncommon to have a big manufacturer or brand owning racetracks. Of course, around we have, of course, Honda own another track that's in racing, of course, Motegi, which we had a few days ago in our schedule on AMX Global. But yeah, this is a Toyota racetrack, and of course, it's not a shock to know that when this track was in F1, was in the years where Toyota was present as a manufacturer, and of course Toyota being one of the key marques in the WEC. Of course, they have been winning Le Mans and the overall in Le Mans for the past few years uninterrupted. Gaspar, as you can see, after a purple sector 1, has made that mistake that cost him dearly. He will have one more attempt though, because he took the checkered flag. He didn't take the checkered flag, I think. Also maybe 2 more laps for Gaspar. Anybody else that's going to cross start finish line from now on will only have 1 more lap left.
A lot of pressure for sure. And for Caio, he comes in here as one of our favorites, right? Caio Gaspar has had an incredible season. And without thinking too hard about it, he has done better, more consistently than I think just about every other racer. Guys like Victor Miranda and Corentin Guinness, neither of whom are present here today, are kind of biting at his heels, but they're not here. And this is one of the reasons why Caio Gaspar is one of our best racers, because he just shows up every single day. Incredibly versatile, and it's great to see him right back up there at the top again. Now, we're on board with Josh Pertwee, who came back out of the pits and managed to get across the finish line for one more qualifying lap. And we'll see if he's able to improve on what was a little bit of a lackluster lap, 136. So definitely some room to improve as he finishes things up.
Yes, sir. You see Jackson Hasenji, who's missed race 1, but of course here for race 2, coming out of the final corner. Sadly, the lap seems to be a pedestrian one for him. 33.1 for Gaspar. He will have 1 more, but I don't think he will go for it. Hasenji won't improve as well, because he's 32.3, and this is a 33. No, this has been an invalidated lap, so not even going to count. So basically the last guy that's on track with a chance to improve is Josh Purwin, and there he is, and actually he improves on his first sector, on his best first sector, so maybe, oh no, I jinxed him, because second sector he doesn't improve, and yeah, oh, and now
yeah.
Okay, that's his lap ruined.
Okay, I was hoping there for a second, Marco, but you had to go and ruin everything. So Jackson Hasenji is just going to finish his lap. It probably will not be an improvement as he is in P2, so we'll just get a chance to reset things. It will be a 4-5-3-1-22 start for our final race of the day.
I think Hasenji has already gotten the checkered flag, so he will not be able to complete this lap. But I might be wrong, so let's keep an eye on him. I think
he will be able to complete the lap, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right. You know, maths are not my strong suit. I was calculating. He has 1 more corner to go, and this is a good lap. I think he could be good for pole position, Reed. Let's see.
Coming through the final section. I'm waiting. He's moving incredibly quickly. What did he set? The 131.9. Oh, 1/10 of a second under 1.5. Wow, that is a very, very fast time. Very, very close. And of course, the reason that he is in P2 for today. I don't know. What are your thoughts there, Marco? Were you worried? Are you concerned that Diego Villarreal could have been hiding strategies and thus not wanting to show us something magical too soon?
You know, you never know with Diego, honestly. So it could be an interesting tactic from him. I've seen that Jackson had a bit of a moment there in the final sector, and that actually cost him pole position, because I think he had a pole position worthy lap. He lost just 1/10 of a second there at the final sector. That cost him, but he should be pretty happy with himself, because he will start from the front row, as you can see from the graphics here. Kulavi 3rd, then Purwin, and as we're saying, we have Villarreal will start 5th. And it's a short pace lap read. The cars are sitting at the entrance of turn 10, 11, 12, the chicane we do to slow them down before turn 13 and 14. So Just a small amount of time to get into race mode, and then it's time to go.
And what's so exciting about this rolling start here today, Marco, is that they start right before the next corner, and they're going to come around a couple turns, and they get to speed up with that pace car along the straightaway coming into the finish line. Then they hit a rolling start through to hit some incredible top speeds before that Daiichi corner into turn one. It's going to be a great way to start here today with some incredible cars. LMP2s always deliver. They're so fast, so much downforce, incredible drivers here driving them, and it's just going to be an amazing race. So I cannot imagine a better way to spend our time today. And truly, if you guys would like to spend your time with us more often, you can head on over to amxrace.com and race races like the one today, the Lara's on the Fuji International Speedway, and a whole host of other cars and tracks that are available on iRacing over the course of our season. And of course, maybe win yourself a little bit of money along with having a fun time and getting to have us, Marco and I, and a few other cool guys to broadcast your races. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It is absolutely. Now in Super GT they don't use tire warm, so it's not uncommon to see the green flag wave on the front stretch, and the cars are like, after the green flag waves, they start weaving to put some heat into their tires, which is quite incredible, because you are heating your tires and also trying to have a start of the race battling with other competitors. I don't think we're going to see that here, but because the track is incredibly hot today, in Super GT they race here twice, and the first time especially is basically now, and you know, we are at a bit of an altitude, so the track temp is quite low, but yeah, go catch Super GT if you can, because they have every race since 2009 available on their YouTube channel, and they post the current season races like a couple of weeks after they happened, and it's some of the best racing in the world. But time to go back to AMX. Pace car is about to go in, and we're about to get the green flag for today's second race.
Here we go, coming across the start line momentarily, and it is going to be that pre-mentioned. I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, it's going to be 5 racers for us today with a very, very fast start. Now speeding up across the finish line, and the green flag is out of there. And we are on our way through 12 laps of the Fuji International Speedway in our Delara 217s. And we're already on our first quarter. Let's see if our racers can get off to a good start already. A little bit of wobbling coming out there in the backstretch from Jackson Resende. It's Kyle Gaspar in that pole position, and Diego Villarreal back there at the end. A little bit of a bumpy start, but all of our racers completing the first few turns before we come into that T6 hairpin. So I'm optimistic. Marco, are we going to have a close race today?
I think so. Josh Furwin just made a fantastic move on the inside of turn 1. Absolutely so brave to go past Kulavi and Hesenji, but now contact! Contact, we had Hesenji hitting the back of Kulavi, entering turn 10, 11, 12, and this will promote Villarreal up to second. Not what Hesenji and Kulavi wanted to do on the very first lap of the race.
I knew we were going to have something like this, which is why I asked you to curse them. You did it excellently, and we are already having a little bit of action underway. Very unfortunate to see that, but you absolutely have to manage your speeds here. These cars will really get away with you, get away from you, or rather, and it's very, very important to be able to hold back when you need to. And of course, now coming through our first lap, we're going to get a chance to see what kind of times our racers are putting up. And just a quick look back at that. You can just see he just goes a little too fast, can't slam on the brakes fast enough. Oof, right into the back. And that is one way to get ahead. There's two kinds of drivers, ones that race fast and ones that avoid altercations like that. They're both going to do pretty well. And that is exactly how we got into the place we are right now. Josh Berwick up there in second. Diego Villarreal starting in the back, and somehow making it all the way up third after that little altercation.
You know, the saving grace for both of them is that it was incredibly square. Like they hit the front end of Kazenji's car, hit the back of Kulavi's car perfectly. So there shouldn't be too much damage on both of these of the cars. Now, of course, they are trying to close the gap on Diego Villarreal immediately. They are still very close to each other, so we will certainly see some action very soon. You can see Villarreal is the very colorful car at the front. Kazenji in green and black, and he's trying to go around the outside here on the final corner. The beautiful track map, you can see different interpretation, with Villarreal basically being stuck coming out of the final corner. And here we go, side by side, no drafting required from the Brazilian. Now a bit of side draft being used, with Kulavi waiting in the wings. And very unruly grandstands that get in our way of the shot, but our production crew quickly moves away from this, as I was saying, unruly grandstands. And again, on the inside is Kulavi, and he gives the favor back to Kazenji. A little bit of a side door banging. Now 3 wide. This is fantastic stuff.
Right, but look at the incredible slingshot there. Kulavi is rolled up in front now with Kazenji and Villarreal back behind him, leaving him in the dust. So close for so long. But it's not just the Tommy Hilfiger logo that's looking good there. Kulavi absolutely dominant, styling a little bit there. Kazenji and Villarreal unable to make that overtake happen, and now it is a clear lead for Axel Kulavi.
Yeah, it's a testament to how sturdy the car has been, because despite the contact, Kulavi was able to go past slingshot, as you were saying, past the both of them, and then the draft, of course, played a decent part in that, but still, that was absolutely fantastic. And now Kazenji needs to get back to it. Now, as I was saying, Kulavi, within the rules, I would say, gave him a little bit of a bang there, but that's okay. That's okay. You know, it was nothing out of the out of bounds. But of course, all this battle and the contact that they had earlier has put them in a bit of a hole, because now they are 7 seconds back of the car in second place, which is Josh Purwin, who's himself got a 1.6 seconds gap between himself and Gaspar. So we probably will have 2 separate battles, one for the lead and one for third and fourth, and maybe fifth if Villarreal will go around, and I suppose hope for act number 3 of this battle between Kulavi and Kazenji in third and fourth.
I love this camera positioning. Oh, the Doppler, so good. These guys are absolutely moving around this track, and as they come along around the Nets corner 15 into the what do they call it? It's Panasonic, right? The 16th quarter into this massive straightaway. There it is. We are going to put the pedal to the metal and see exactly what these guys can get done in the Dallara 217s. And here we go. Our first 2 racers, Gaspar, Josh Berwin, around the corner and into this absolutely massive straightaway. And of course, Kulavi Kazenji will be following on their heels. Diego Villarreal back in the back once again.
Going to the front stretch, of course, you can see the elevation change, the track going actually down, entering the braking area, which makes it even more difficult. And this runoff area also tends to go a little bit downhill. It's been has been the location for some pretty nasty crashes over the years. You can see that Kazenji is incredibly close to Kulavi with his beautifully presented Texaco Tony Kanaan livery. 2 beautiful liveries all in all, which is part of the the show, in my opinion, having good-looking cars or outrageous cars around the racetrack. But I think that, yeah, we are getting very, very close to having the third round of action between these two guys who are really putting on a show for us. And again, this is the corner where they collided in the opening lap. As, by the way, we are having so much fun, Reed, that in a few seconds we'll go to the halfway point of the race already.
Yeah, I actually didn't notice how little time has passed, or how much time has passed, rather, Marco. This is pretty impressive, I gotta say. You know, it's a little bit sad to see Diego Villarreal back in the back, as he actually catapulted himself up into third place earlier after just avoiding a little bit of a wreck, but has finally made his way back down to where he started, so he will definitely have some work to do. We were on board there with Calavi, who actually is most vulnerable racer on the track right now, with less than a minute, or less than a second rather, less than a second between him and Resenge, who, okay, now it's up to 2, now it's up to 3. What happened?
I think he spun in turn 1, or he had a moment in turn 1. His car was basically planted in the middle of the corner, and I think he had a half spin maybe, or even a no, I don't think a complete spin. He just had a half spin, and this certainly is going to make Ulavi very, very happy, because now he has a 3.5 second gap over the Brazilian, which is absolutely what he wanted to have. Somewhat of a safe run into the final few laps of the race, even though, of course, it's not as easy as it seems.
Yeah, sorry for the curse there. I did not mean it. What a tragedy. That was our closest part of the race, and now it's between Resenge and Diego Villarreal back at the back. But even that is still over a second, as man, this track really takes no prisoners. Not even an aggressive error, just a straight up spin out. Very, very difficult there. Now we separate the pack a little bit more, with no surprises. Kyle Gaspar way up at the front, but a very consistent race from Josh Perwin, who managed to make that early move. He didn't start in second. He was actually down, I think, starting in fourth, but has managed to climb his way up with a 3-second lead over the nearest racer, Calavi, who's now down there in third. So if Josh Perwin could just maintain, he can absolutely bring this home. But actually, Villarreal is starting to climb up a little bit, narrow that gap against him and Jackson Resenge. So we'll see if maybe he can make a move here in the second half of our time out on the Fuji International Speedway.
That overtake by Purwin at the start was one of the best I've seen all season. It was so brave, but when you are in, there is a difference between being brave and being stupid. That is a very, very fine difference, because you can really risk to ruin your race and the drivers around you also as well when you go for something like that. But he did it in such a calm, calculated way, and very, very safe. If a 3-wide overtake into turn 1 can be considered safe. So absolutely fantastic move. And of course, let's not forget that Josh is probably sitting somewhere in Australia, and of course the drivers around him are on the other side of the world, in South America. And the beauty of all of this that we are doing is that we can have the confidence of pulling moves like that, and not having the latency being that much of a problem, which I think is something we take for granted when we do sim racing, Reed. But if you really think about it, in my opinion, it's a minor miracle that everything works like it does, you know, with sim racing, and the fact that server is in one place, the drivers are in another place. I think we use North American servers for this series, so these drivers have to connect to the server in North America, which I think is in Boston, and then the signal has to go back to either South America or to Australia, and they still can race side by side almost perfectly. You know, there's always going to be some moments here and there, but it's incredible I marvel at this sometimes in a very stupid way, but I remember when I started doing sim racing in 2001, and we had 56k connections here in Italy, and basically you couldn't run within 10 meters of the car next to you.
Yeah, we've come a long way. This is why I think about space travel, Marco. These racers, these race cars are actually pretty much spaceships. They are moving incredibly fast. You just gotta point them up and give them a road, and they will be in orbit in no time. How everything all works together in perfect harmony, well, almost perfect harmony, really gives me a lot of hope for the very cool Star Wars future that's out there. I don't know exactly what to expect, but I think we're in good hands. If we can make racers able to make this happen, then truly anything is possible. However, with Resenje hitting the pit lane, Villarreal is kind of unexpectedly skyrocketed up to 4th. Now, I'm not sure exactly what happened or what the motivation was there. Could have been injury from a little bit earlier. Now we're going to get a chance to check out Resenje and his invisible pit crew to see if he is planning on rejoining our race.
He's changing tires, so maybe he's, the fastest lap of the race is 10 cool points, aka 10 cool dollars. So maybe he's up on the jacks, so maybe he's changing tires to go for a shot at the fastest lap of the race. Now, he barely missed out on pole position, so I know he has the pace in him to maybe get the fastest lap. Now, we've seen the same thing by Josh Purwin in the previous race, of course. Didn't work out for him. So let's see if Kazenji instead is able to make it work. He needs to beat the mark that you can see. 31.748, that is the fastest lap of the race so far being set by Caio Gaspar, and there he is, enjoying a nice day at the office. Is Caio Gaspar, and is basically only 3 laps away from securing a win here at Fuji International Speedway for this second race of the day here on AMX Global.
I mean, we are truly very global, as you and I have been talking about, Marco. I mean, also equally as impressive, not only that our drivers can drive alongside each other from all over the world going through their servers, but also that you and I can be here together commentating with our vocal race cars right next to each other also. A miracle of modern science, both you and I here together today.
It absolutely is, and it's amazing, and it's considering that when we first started doing this sim racing thing 20 plus years ago, I was there 80 years ago, like the Titanic. There was like doing the live stream, live commentary of races was considered like a pipe, impossible. We had for the Italian Grand Prix Legend Championship, we had like a website that would upload a still image of the race and the standings every 10 seconds, and that was your live stream of the race. So to go from that to this, it's absolutely fantastic.
Big improvements. Unfortunately, not very many improvements for our racers as we head into the hinterland of the race today. It looks like this is pretty well established. Barring any accidents, we are heading towards a Gaspar, Purwin, Kalevi, Villarreal, Resenje finish. An unfortunate pit stop meant that Resenje will be finishing in 5th place, which is still not bad, but is maybe a little bit lower than he would have imagined, especially since he has been as high as 3rd or even 2nd, I want to say. But it's been a great race for guys like Caio Gaspar and Josh Purwin. Each have maintained their incredible starts, and even Josh Purwin, who was able to sort of take that 2nd place and keep an eye on it. So keep hold, and it looks like he will be able to do that as we head through our final few turns into the straightaway and into very soon the white flag.
Yes, sir. He should be just a few meters away from the white flag that will signal the final lap of this race. And there it is, the white flag appearing on the top left of your screen. So just a few kilometers away is Caio Gaspar from winning this race, 32.9. For him, you can see our flagman Barney waving the white flag with, I would say, remarkable enthusiasm there. 32.9 for Kulavi, but we're waiting on the lap time for Hesenji. Let's see if he actually made a pit stop for the fastest lap, or if he just you know, had to pit because you were, like you were saying, maybe some damage. So interesting to see if he can snatch that those bonus points for the fastest lap of the race on the final lap.
The fastest lap is still possible. You still have one final opportunity, no matter what your place is, any possible moment to make the fastest lap happen. And I truly do enjoy our fastest lap prize, because it does mean that no matter who you are, no matter what your situation is in the race, you too can make a dent, make an impact, not hopefully in the car in front or behind you, but rather in your pocket by coming out with the fastest lap. And all of our racers have one final chance to do that, but they've got to get it done now. And of course, as we head through the straightaway, this is truly where we are going to end it. And who's going to end it first? It is going to be Caio Gaspar, of course, as he will almost guaranteed take that checkered flag, a 1:34 time, but of course a fastest lap of 1:31.7, and a final position of number 1, top of the podium, Caio Gaspar.
So Paul wins second, Kulavi third, Villarreal will finish fourth, and Hesenji has crossed the start-finish line just in front of our race leader. Therefore, basically, we'll have to wait one extra lap for Jackson to finish his final lap, and hopefully for him getting that fastest lap of the race. But he had a very slow lap in the previous one. Maybe he was saving some tires, getting them back into an operating temperature. And we'll see then. It is Jackson Hesenji trying to go through the slow portion of the racetrack. Of course, remember that you need to be absolutely pristine in your lap. You cannot get out of the racing surface. If you leave the track, you'll get an incident point, which will invalidate your lap time. Therefore, for Jackson, he really needs to be fast and consistent. And here he comes on the long run towards the checker flag. Now, will he get the fastest lap of the race or not? Here he comes, and survey says he will. Oh boy, I forgot what was the fastest lap of the race. So all this excitement, then I forget about it. Incredible.
I mean, look, there's a lot to process here. Winner, of course, Caio Gaspar, Josh Irwin, Aston Kulavi, Diego Villarreal, Jackson Hesenji, non esports Brazil, rounding out our podium for today. 5 racers, but honestly, a lot of really cool action. And by far, the most impressive part for me is after we finished all of the hubbub of our first few laps, the stability of the midsection and being able to kind of maintain those positions over what can be a very challenging racetrack, a really special way to end our time on the Fuji Speedway. The first time that we're seeing that track out there today, so really special time to get to experience something new. And of course, we'll be experiencing a few new things this week. So don't forget to check our schedule on amxrace.com. We'll also be tweeting and sharing some of our finest moments, some memes, some updates, some results, and of course, our upcoming races all on social media. So make sure to get out there and follow us on Instagram, on Twitter. We've got all of our social links immediately down below. And of course, you can find out more by going to amxrace.com. We've got a lot more left in store for you, not only today, but this week as well, as we head right back out on to the iRacing racetrack, Radical SR8s on Virginia International Raceway, and Audi 90 GTOs on Daytona International Speedway coming up in just over about 30 hours. So take a little bit of a break, but don't go too long. Any final words today, Marco?
Gaspar got the fastest lap of the race, so I went back and checked, so he gets the bonus points.
Okay, all right. Thanks for putting a little bit of a bow on top, a cherry, if you will. And of course, a little bit of that too. Big thanks to everybody else for watching. Huge thanks to our production crew behind the scenes. And of course, we look forward to seeing all of you back here again in a couple days for even more action from AMX Global Season 2.